Also put this on. So we're all set up, right? And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. This is season 2, episode 1 of Jitters Jib Jab, the return. And we're kicking things off with something I like to call righteous indignation. I'm not exactly sure entirely what it means, but let's see if we can get to the bottom of it today. I just want to thank everybody back. I had to come back. I had to do it to them, ladies and gentlemen. You already know pretty much at this point that I'm libbed up. I'm libbed up. You're not getting through me with any of that nonsense. None of that nonsense is coming through. Not on my channel. There's a lot going on. There are adults that couldn't pass 8th grade math tests. Peter Thiel looked camera directly in the face and told everybody he was the antichrist. Um, in one of the most boring interviews I've ever seen in all of my life. I don't know how anybody really made it through 3 hours of some billionaire tech guy congratulating himself for steering politics in the shadows. I don't understand. I don't get it. But if you stuck it out, eventually he reveals his arrival, that he's arrived. If you stick it out for a couple hours, now there are obviously other things. Dave is no longer with us. Dave, he'll be missed truly, truly, and honestly, Peter Thiel. I hope you make good use of Dave's immortal soul. I can't help but to think of Nazis during these troubled times. I have some trouble because that's just what I try to give myself hobbies, but I can't figure it out. I can't find like a good one. Like I tried to start a podcast, and my former producer Dave, if you didn't catch season 1, just eventually starts showing up with this homeless Nazi girl. She just comes strolling in through him, starts boiling steaks on my stove. So Dave's no longer with us. I have a new producer now. His name's Dave. And fortunately, Dave was. Thank you for setting this up for me, Dave. Thank you for letting us use this room. It's the Brooklyn Bang Room. If you haven't heard of it, you should check it out. It's got great vibes, and Dave doesn't like us calling it that. I know he would really prefer if I just called it his living room, but I digress. One of these days, I would like to get laid in here, not even because I long for any type of healthy or active sex life, but because I want to look Dave right in the eye when I finally get laid in the Brooklyn Bang Room. I want to tell him that I had intercourse in his living room, and I want to see what he gets more upset at. Um, yeah, I kind of wanted to get a little cozier for this next part. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. They they say nicotine is bad for you. But then riddle me this. Why is it so delicious? I think tobacco built this country, and if you think otherwise, leave me alone. The other day, a guy told me climate change wasn't man-made. It wasn't that he was saying, it wasn't that he was saying that it wasn't happening. It was more so that it happens all the time. And this is one of those dumb guy logics where like this there are things that like political arguments and things that I've noticed like since I was a kid, there are these arguments that you think are settled, and then 10 years later, like the Republicans went right back to saying, like, yeah, climate change is happening. It's just not man made. So that's something I kind of wanted to get into, but like I didn't really know what to say to this guy because if you can't realize on your own why you're an idiot, there's really nothing left to say, but here I am. I'm God's champion, and I found my purpose on earth is I think to dumb down some things for people. And there's guys like this just walking around in real life. Guys like this out there that are even worse too. There are people. Dave's homeless Nazi girlfriend is just out there, and I like Dave. Remember, Dave's not a Nazi. Dave's not a bad guy. He just doesn't mind letting Nazis sleep in his car from time to time. So we're gonna give him a pass on that one. But I'm recording this next part just for I think the language I would use is just for posterity's sake. Is that I'm recording this? Dave's watching me from the corner. He's not too happy about me using the Brooklyn Bang Room and not banging. I don't know why he's doing that. But anyway, I'm recording this next part for posterity's sake. If you do believe Because this is what really irks me at the end of the day. I'm not even out here like I'm a geologist or nothing. I'm just saying if you do believe in climate experts about the Earth's climate 450 million years ago, how come you don't believe the Earth's climate experts for what they're saying is happening right now? I don't understand, and quite frankly, where where do you get off picking and choosing which of the experts you agree with only when it suits your argument? And really, furthermore, fuck the Democratic Party and some of the awful shit that has failed ordinary people like me and you. That was a little niche, but we'll get to, don't worry, we'll get to Chapel Rowan later. We'll get to her next. But furthermore, my buddy told me like the Earth's climate always goes through this shit. Like these climate cycles where like they're just like the changes. And I'm like, yeah, but doesn't everything die during those? And he said like, oh, well, not everything. I said, right, exactly, everything. But like, I don't want the bees to go extinct, dude. Like the bees are just caught up in some mass extinction level event where the bees finally actually die. They've been saying it forever. I feel like they've been saying this one forever, but yeah, I don't like getting stung either. But I'm not here to genocide all the bees away. But that was really one of those climate changes in Earth's history. Like there was like just some big ass meteor, like the size of my dick, just like screaming in from outer space, and it like slammed into like the Earth's crusty. How would you say it? Like Crussy, but like it slammed into like some super volcano or something, and and the Earth's pussy just started squirt. It squirted and started. It wasn't piss though. It was lava. It squirted Earth pussy juice into the sky, and gave everyone pink eye, and 90% of the life on Earth died out. Every time there's a new epoch, I don't know if you ever checked out an epoch, but if you check out one of these epochs on the Earth's geological calendar, that's basically what was happening. Oh, excuse me, guys. Excuse me, guys. I'm getting old. I'm not a fan of getting old per se, but like randomly, like my back's a little. But yeah, it was lava, dude. Like yeah, and yeah, you would have been grateful for just getting pink eye. You know, the Earth needs some antibiotics. Stat. I'm just saying, if your argument is the Earth is merely going through some sort of mass extinction event, at least bring like a plan to deal with that or resign from Congress. Like you can't be saying like, oh yeah, the Earth's about to go through like a 1 in 100 million year climate cycle where it like radically changes and all the bees are gonna die. But like we don't have a plan for this. Like what world do we live in where like some scientists like, hey, I put together some data and this is what we should do on this, and like the other scientists like you're not even disagreeing, you're just going, I don't know about all that. Like that, I don't know, man. That's not for me. That's not for me, chat. Ugh. Rarely even calisthenics are, but I like to move around. I like to stay active, you know. But I don't think you need to be like some type of geologist or like expert to understand this shit either. But like, if that's what you're saying is happening, I don't want to see another one of your politicians argue without some sort of plan to deal with the shit that's for sure happening. I don't know how you could say like, yeah, it's for sure happening, but like, who gives a fuck? That's always been irritating to me. Like that shit, and that's like a litmus test for if you're an idiot. Because if somebody's out there convincing you not to worry about climate change, because they're just saying like, oh, it's not from fossil fuels, it's just something that's happening naturally. Like you're not worried still. That's irritating. That's so fucking irritating. I guess that's the point of this, really. Sometimes I do pray. I don't know what the fuck is out there, but there's something that's chatting back. But sometimes I pray to God that like my role in life will be like to dumb down physics in a way that gets Republicans to stop like destroying America. And I already know what some of you might say. Oh, not everything is physics. Oh, there are different specialties and areas of expertise. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. This isn't for doctors. If you understand certain differences, if you understand words, this isn't for you. This is for somebody that, couldn't tell you the difference between like an orthopedist or cardiologist. They'll know how to say orthopedist the right way. They would have corrected me. That this isn't for them. That's not for them. This is for somebody. The only reason they know what a cardiologist is because they're having heart issues. They haven't put things together in their life, and I'm probably going to have heart issues. No, nothing's universal. Nothing's perfect. But generally, if it wasn't for like a life-threatening illness, this particular character who needs me didn't know all doctors weren't the same. And I know I've met Republicans that sound like they're smart people. Like there's some of them that like they start talking, and you're like, maybe this guy's a well-spoken adult who I should listen to. I've heard them too. I've heard them too, and a lot of them are smart people. And you know what we call them? Here, come. You gotta get closer, kids. You got come on, come over here to Johnny. You know what we call these people? They're Nazis. They're Nazis. They're playing dumb. They're obfuscating. They're changing the subject. It's fucking annoying. It's very fucking annoying. Arguing with Republicans are like people who just like wrote down how girlfriends argue, and they just do that, but for like race science. But yeah, um, yeah. In Supreme Leader Zoran's Constitutional Republic, we call those people Nazis. That's what the bit was for. But Joe Rogan's been pissing me off. How long have we been doing this? Joe Rogan pisses me the fuck off lately. Where am I? Where even? I wonder how long this one's gonna be. I haven't done this in a while. I hope I can end up in. I hope this last one I can extend the way I hope, but we'll see because Joe Rogan's been pissing me off, and I hope I don't get lazy and I hope I edit in like the graph he used. But I guess like the call to action that brought about this righteous indignation was watching this guy like misrepresent, use a graph to like mislead people. I think, and I wrote a little bit. Part of the reason I do these notes is not because I need to, or honestly, I need to write down some of the things I say, but I just like to stay on track with it. But this guy was pissing me off. Like he used this graph to ambush Bernie. But like if you remember eighth grade math class when they teach you about graphs, they explicitly explain how some people try to hide or mislead the reader when presenting information on a graph. I shouldn't be the person. Hold on, let me make sure I get this right. I shouldn't be the person to have to explain this, and I swear to God, I was already an adult when I realized how much we need cool nerds with a lot of patience to explain this shit. But basically, if you even try to show any change over a 200-year time span with a 450 million year axis on a graph, it means you're trying to lie and misrepresent what the guy's saying, what the info is saying, what the data is saying. Show me your data, bro. But I absolutely hate like half the people who've shifted to new media and the Joe Rogans of the world because basically the whole thing. I'm going to summarize the Bernie Sanders thing. J- Bernie mentions like climate change and like how it's like an agenda he's pursuing to like make things better in that regard. And Joe Rogan's like, yo, pretty unfortunate what the Wall Street Journal, or whatever fucking news article wrote. And there's an article that says we're actually in a cooling period. But like, if you read the article, it's like some weird shit about how like yeah, first of all, the Earth's still getting hotter, but there might be secondary effects that are slowing the heating of the planet. Baseline, what most climate experts are saying is that we're still heating up, most likely from pollution. In this article, the article that Joe Rogan cited, the article is practicing climate alarmism, and he flashed like a graph that quickly, boom, here's this graph, boom, but we're going to zoom out for 450 million years so that the last 200 years of fossil fuel use is like this itty bitty blip on the radar. And it's just the type of like dishonest shit that if you're not looking like it explains this, it explains what's going on in politics. Is like you have a whole side where I get politicking, like you gotta lie sometimes. There's weird shit that goes into all this, but you have one side that's literally a 24/7 nonstop lie channel. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's not sensationalism. It's not chasing like an exciting story and massaging the details. It's taking an article and a graph depicting climate change and the way contemporary climate scientists describe it, and you're purposely trying to flip it and make it something it's not. It's disgusting, and you should delete your Minecraft server. Um, but half you, and then it's crazy because you, all these people like the Joe Rogans of the world, you guys are the people that the experts are for. Like the experts are around because you guys can't figure out what's going on. If it wasn't for the FDA, you guys would be the people feeding your children poison, and sending them off to like weird churches to get molested by priests. So I'm not really sure why you guys are mad at the experts. If they weren't around, your gene line would have been cut out a long fucking time ago. Anyways, I need to think of there's one other thing I wanted to get to, and I guess this is how I'm gonna sign off now. Um, but I need to think of a bit. I need to break down eighth grade math class in a 3 minute joke, like set up, punchline, follow up. Like that's my process. But next time we chat, you know, I'm gonna work out like that math class bit, and I'm also gonna work out something for like spooky ghosts before bedtime. Like how many I don't really have a bit for this either, but it's just like spooky ghosts before bedtime. I'm not sure if they'd be good or bad ghosts. I'm not exactly sure if there's a correct amount of spooky ghosts before bedtime, or if the number's just always zero. But hopefully I'll have the answer this time next week. But don't worry about those spooky ghosts before bedtime, and have a good night, San Diego.